And I'm like, yeah. I learned it from a buddy of mine out in Galveston. We had gotten back from a fishing tournament, and my tournament fishing partner, he stepped on a blue crab or something like during the tournament. Well, the next day his feet were swollen, like swollen, and it was from the cut underneath.
Yeah.
So he was telling us about it, and I looked at him, and he goes, and this dude don't bull. He don't play us. He don't pull our string because he knows we're going to be on track. We're not going to be BSing each other. So he goes, try it, man. Like I'm telling you, it's going to burn, but watch your feet. And so he did it. And then my buddy was like, oh, my, because he had to crack the skin because it already healed over and kind of deal. And so he did it, and we saw his foot right there, right in front of our, just like within minutes. I was like, damn, like that's impressive. So ever since then, I've been doing it. And I actually did a video on it. I left an alligator guard spot when I went up to the Trinity, and I got stuck with thorns when we were going through the woods up there. And I'm talking, these are thorns, like big old. Well, I had some still embedded in my skin and all of that, and I got them all plucked out, but my feet were swollen. So I did a bath of Clorox on my feet, and the porch I was on, it foamed up. I was like, damn, that was a nasty porch, but they got all cleaned by me, you know, because I was doing my feet. But needless to say, on video, I showed that. And I got back over here to Corpus, and months later, I ran out of Clorox and sent one of my guys, and he brought some cheap stuff. I was like, Clorox is Clorox. Poured it on there, and I was like, you could barely see a little fizzle. I was like, oh no, go get me some. So then I put the good Clorox on. It started bubbling up real quick, and I was like, see that? Yeah. So some things I will not skimp on. But if I can find great quality without spending, crazy amount of money, I'm all for it.
It's like my wife's half Chinese. My father-in-law lives in China. And at one point I was thinking about opening a vape shop. This is back before everybody had opened vape shops everywhere around. And he lives half the year in Shenzhen, which is where everything ships out of. And so he went and toured a couple of factories, and I was not just thinking about a shop, but being a distributor, having him load shipping containers and send them over, and then I would supply vape shops.
Yeah.
And he smoked for 50 years.
Gotta bite. I think I got a lot of stress on my mind. It's a nice day to go. Yeah, I gotta learn. I'ma call the whole team.
And I finally got him vaping. He will not vape Chinese juice. He's like, bullshit. He goes, I don't know what the hell they put in it. That juice and send it to me.
Right on. Oh, that's funny.
He said he saw counterfeit salt. I was like, how the hell do you counterfeit salt? He said, because they made it Morton's, you can charge another, tenth of a penny per package because they counterfeited the logo. They didn't just make whatever their logo was. They said it was Morton's, so you could charge more for it.
Wow. Yeah, no doubt on that. All right, let's see.
Yeah, this is my first Raptor.
Oh, your first one?
Yeah.
What other kind of reels do you have?
I have two single-speed MXLs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is going to be a whole life-changing event for you. I don't mean to put it so that, but it is. When you drop down in gear and you go like this, and you have all that power you're looking for, it's awesome. It is really awesome.
And my shark reel right now is a Okuma 50W. That's why I'm in the market for a real.
There you go. And is it the Okuma Makaira that you have, or is it the Okuma, what is that other reel?
Solterra? It's the big gold one.
I don't know. I'd have to double check.
It's an older one. I don't think they make it anymore. I've had it probably for 6 or 7 years. intended for it never to land in salt water, even though they're waterproof.
Yeah.
And I ended up with it out in the drink one day. Worst riptide I think I've ever seen. And it's just me and my wife fishing that day. And I looked around and I'm like, you got to stay here with all the gear. I ran down probably about, I reeled in hoping that the drone was wrapped around the line. Because I mean, remember The Price is Right, that game Plinko, where they drop the chip and they'd go blink, 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 blink. Yeah, that's what the drone looked like falling out of the sky, right about on top of the third bar.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up down a couple of camps. I ran across the Kentucky hillbillies on North Padre Island. Kids, probably in their early 20s, drunk as shit. And at the time, I had an old 1980 beach truck with a warmed up 350 in it. And the guy goes, "Oh, what year is this here, old truck?" I mean, I was looking for my drone. I said, if you guys find it, I said, I think it's probably coming up on your camp right now. I said, bright orange, I'll pay you a cash reward to get it back. So just as I start to drive down, I heard, Mister comes back, we think we sees it. And they were right, it was out there, right in between second and third bar, 4-foot surf, rough, it was just brutal. I finally got it back, got standing on the second sandbar. I'm like, I got it. The rednecks are standing on the first sandbar, like, you got it. That's when a wave hit me in the back, knocked me down. Now I'm trying to pull my swim trunks back on. Oh, it was a shit show from the word go. But I upgraded the flight controller and a bunch of other stuff in it. And then I realized I can't get propellers for it anymore. Because, they've tried to erase Splash Drone 2 from memory. And they switched to a different way of locking the prop onto the motor. And I thought I had found them, ordered some out of China. Wrong thread. It's one size off.
Dang it.
So they're, it's $50 for like 6 sets. But completely useless to me. So I decided, what if I just switched out the motors? And I started looking at the price of switching out motors. Next thing you know, I'm building a hexacopter on a completely different frame.
Probably a lot cheaper than it would have been to finish refurbing that one.
Yeah, let me come back in a minute. Oh, by the way, I got down here. I've got a 32-foot travel trailer that stays at my dad's house. And the fan motors out on the rear AC froze up since I was here 5-6 weeks ago. It was working fine then. I went to turn it on. I was like, damn it.
Get hot pretty quick in there.
Luckily, it's got 2 ACs, so the one in the bedroom still works. So it keeps it from being just miserable. And I'm going to build a shed over it this year.
That'll help with a lot of the heat too.
Oh yeah, having it in the shade makes a big difference, and it just makes it last longer. Which, if I move down here, I'll probably keep it and use it as an actual camper instead of just private quarters whenever I'm in town.
Feels a little loose. Okay. What I was doing is, have you ever done the hollow core splicing?
Oh yeah.
If you have a little bit of slack in it, it balls up right here, and you feel that little bump.
Yep.
That's what I felt when I was going in. So I just had to take out the extra
Yeah,
slack.
it takes me 10 different tries to get it right.
All right, so we can go 350 total of 65, or we can do 150 yards of top shot with 80 pound. You end up with 450 yards of line total. But if you go with 350 total of the 65, then it backs down your top shot to like 100 yards. So you think,
yeah, do 150 yard top shot.
okay.
Yeah, of all things, guy that I work with that just started about a month ago lives. I live in Montgomery, which is on Lake Conroe. He lives in Conroe. We both work for a business that's, call it downtown, 72 miles from me on asphalt. If I go into the office, I don't go into the office very often. But as I'm talking to him, I think I said something about going fishing this weekend, and he started talking about he's got a DJI Phantom, drone fishes, or shark out in Galveston all the time. Like, what are the chances?
What was his name?
Same as mine, Trey.
Wow. So, does he only want to fish in Galveston, or is he coming down?
He's going to come. We're going to come down here sometime. So, I go to Galveston every once in a while. I mean, I hate Galveston. I'll go to Freeport or I'll go to Crystal Beach.
Yeah.
Galveston, you can't drive on the beaches. It's no use to me. I'm not humping gear down from the seawall or the little pocket beaches that are as big as a postage stamp.
Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to get that crap done here, man. They freaking.
I see that right there north of Packery, where they're going to make that all private.
Yeah, it finally, I guess the bill that they were trying to get passed through for private beaches or areas that they can make private like that and stuff like that. So it's circumventing the Open Beaches Act that passed, after all or before all of that. So it's going to be a war, basically.
Yep.
A bunch of.
Whoever has the most money will win.
That's what it's basically going to boil down to. I don't know. I had a thought of maybe I can send a post up to Mr. Beast, YouTuber that spends millions on, natural environment stuff and stuff like that, to see if maybe it'll help us with legal fees to ensure we can put up a good battle. That's 450 right there. Now, are you going to be casting this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're still need that kind of.
Oh yeah, I occasionally fly out bait with it, but
You got 450 yards, so you're golden.
I've still got right now the hexacopter I built. You ever seen a sealant fan that's real out of balance? Yeah, that's what it looks like whenever it takes off. I have to tune that out of it. Today might end up being a mostly drone day, in fact.
Yeah, I got a buddy of mine that's going to teach me how to fly drones. I've never flew one, like a good drone, other than the cheap ones you get,
I tell you, if you want a good drone to learn on, it's not crazy expensive, but it still takes fantastic pictures and isn't as expensive as a DJI. A DJI, pretty much any of them, a 2, a Mavic, an Air, whatever, you're over $1,000.
Well, my wife won one, so I've already got one.
Perfect.
And then I also have a Splash Drone 3.
Okay.
And one of my teammates is working on that one, so we messed up one of the motors or one of the landing deals, something like that. So he's working on it, but I haven't flown it personally. Other guys that know how to fly them flew it for me, but we flew it on a day that was ridiculously windy, and when it came back to the pier, it dropped several baits, but when it came back to the pier on the final run, it crashed into the pier, or inside the pier, but yeah. So it's like, well, hey, we got baits out.
If it ever toilet bowls on you, so on your remote, I don't remember, I was 3. I've flown a 3 once, but there's probably it takes it out of GPS mode. What happens whenever they start to toilet bowl is it's losing connection to GPS satellites. On a 2, the GPS module was inside. On a 3, it actually stands up. That's a little dish that's sitting on top of it. Take it out, put it into what's called ADDI mode, no GPS. So you're flying by the seat of your pants in. If the wind's blowing a direction, it's going to blow that direction. But you take it out of GPS mode, put it right back in GPS mode, and it takes a couple seconds, and it'll lock back on, and it'll hover where it's supposed to. Just remember, it is constantly, whenever it sits there and hovers in midair exactly where it's supposed to, that's all GPS doing that. You take it out of GPS mode, there's a strong breeze coming in off the water, whoo, it's in the dunes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it won't lose altitude. You're still at whatever altitude you're at. But yeah, definitely do a lot of practicing.